What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy back again, Dominick here, with another episode of DGA Live. I'm hanging out with Miss Chris.
Hey.
It is a Thursday evening, and we are talking horror once again. So, if you've watched this channel before, we did a whole episode on Friday the 13th. We talked about the lawsuit. We talked about the movie franchise. We talked about the day in general, right? Mm-hmm. We had an episode about upcoming horror movies in 2020. And this is kind of a continuation to that. I wanted to hit on some points that I found very interesting, and I wanted to share with you guys. So the first thing I'm going to talk about with you is, and I kind of left Crystal in the dark on this, just because I want to hear her first reaction feedback without any thinking about it, is today...
This means he's putting me on blast.
A little bit, right?
I'm scared.
Today, about 8 hours ago, the official Candyman trailer dropped. This is her all-time... Now, I'm talking Candyman, what, 93? Fucking, I forgot what year it was. But the original Candyman, which I want to say was 93, I could be wrong. Look that up for me. Look it up. Look up Candyman.
I just want to say that a couple weeks ago, he almost made me watch this. The original one.
The original one scared the fuck out of her. We talked about this on the channel before. I haven't watched it since I've been with her because I'm not allowed to. So it's been 4 fucking years.
He can watch it, but not with me.
Not with you. So we all know that there's a new Candyman coming out in 2020. We talked about it before. And it comes out in June.
92.
92, I was close. Yeah. It comes out in June this year. We got an official movie poster for it, which is sick as fuck. It's just a hook with some honey on it and a bee. And we got the official trailer. And I have to admit, I'm pretty stoked about it.
So you watched the trailer already?
I watched the trailer. It's 2.5 minutes. If you
and
wanna,
you didn't share it with me?
No, that's why I wanted to bring it up on this channel. So
all right. Oh,
if
look
you
it.
want
Is this the new one?
That's it. Yeah, okay, watch it later.
I think I might.
If you want to check out that trailer, it's just YouTube it. I'm not going to put a link or nothing. Just YouTube, Candyman 2020. You're going to pop it up all over the net. It's about 2.5 minutes. It's Jordan Peele is the producer on the film. Yeah. And they go back to Cabrini Green. So I'm super stoked about that. We talked about that. If they were going to keep it in Chicago and kind of have that Cabrini Green moment, because Cabrini Green has been cleaned up a lot since the 80s and 90s.
And so they kept it there.
They kept it there, and it's still a bad part of town in, the Chicagoland area. And I don't know if it's truly shot there or if they're shooting it somewhere in the south side of Chicago and just calling it Cabrini Green. Who knows? But super stoked about that movie. So check out that trailer. Another thing I wanted to bring up is something that struck me as odd was a while ago, Freddy Kruger, Robert Englund, came out and said that he wanted to do, and this was a while ago, he came out and said, hey, I got 2 more movies left in me. Yeah. Let's do this. And this is before the Wes Craven Estates got the franchise back, right? So Wes Craven Estates got the franchise back. They own the rights to all the Nightmare pictures and all that good stuff. And they have announced that there's going to be a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie coming out. We don't know when. We just know it's in the works. And Robert Englund was going to come back on board. Heather Langenkamp. Mm-hmm. And it turns out Robert doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it. So I was like, oh, shit. So then I started thinking about it.
How old is he now?
He is 72. So I started thinking about it, right? If you think about the most iconic, right? The most iconic horror slashers, right? 3 that pop up right off the bat.
Yeah, Jason, Michael, Freddy.
Jason, Michael, and Freddy. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Those are the 3 most iconic. Now you got Chucky and Pinhead and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but...
Now here's the thing. Freddy Krueger, up until the reboot in 2010, was always played by Robert Englund. It's always been Robert Englund. We've had 12 Friday the 13th films, and the only one to play Jason more than once was Kane Hodder. Mm-hmm. Right? Kane Hodder played him 4 times out of that franchise. So to see somebody else step in and play Freddy Krueger is, to a fan base, a diehard fan base, it's not, it doesn't go well over. I want you to think about superhero movies for a second, right? 100 fucking Batmans, right? We've had Michael Keaton, Adam West, Val Kilmer, George fucking Clooney did it, right? Christian Bale, all right? We had a ton of fucking Batmans.
Same with Spider-Man.
Same thing with Spider-Mans, right? Nobody kind of bats an eye. They kind of get excited to see who the new Batman is.
Yeah, right.
Which, by the way, is Robert Pattinson.
I have my own thoughts about that.
But think about Wolverine.
It's always been the same.
Always been Hugh Jackman. Now, how would you feel if somebody came in and played Wolverine after Hughes did it since 1999?
Well, it's like Tony Stark.
Tony Stark also.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like, I don't think anybody could take that away from Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr.'s got a hand.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely.
Wolverine, you could do different types of Wolverines. I'd be a little pissed if it wasn't Hugh Jackman, right? But you got Old Man Logan, you got the feral Wolverine. There's all different types of Wolverines. But we're not talking comic books, we're talking horror. So, how would you feel if somebody came in from the outside on a Wes Craven done reboot or prequel, sequel, who knows, and it wasn't Robert Englund? You're going to go into a very, what's the word?
Skeptical?
Skeptic, very critical about it.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. Like, I'm like, yeah, but I get it. He's 72. And on top of it, Robert Englund was never a fan of the makeup process.
Because it's a huge process.
So, yeah, that was his worst part. He hated the makeup process. It took a long time. Now, Robert Englund did reprise his role in an episode of Meet the Goldmans?
I don't know about that.
Look that up for me, too.
What am I looking up?
Look up Freddy Krueger, is it Meet the Goldmans? He did a cameo, I guess you would say, and played Freddy Krueger on this TV show. And that was the last time he did a full makeup.
Meet the what?
Meet the Goldmans? Or
Goldbergs?
Goldbergs, that's it. Now, was it, let me see, Freddy Krueger on the Goldbergs? It was, okay. So, yeah, I was right.
Yeah.
That was the last time he actually played the role on film, I should say, is in this TV show, where that TV show is kind of very 80s based, so it made sense to have Freddy Krueger in it for this episode. And that episode, I think, was probably their highest rated episode, too, on top of it. And that kind of started the buzz when they started interviewing him, all this other stuff. So Robert Englund came out and said that he doesn't want to do it, he's too old, and said he wouldn't mind cameo in it, right? Which is what I would expect.
Yeah.
If he wasn't in it, he'd come out and be a cameo as himself, because he plays a lot of roles as himself in different films and all that good stuff. But then he came out today, and I read something. I had to check out this article. It's on Screen Rant. He came out and he said he wants to voice Freddy Krueger. So immediately what I thought when I read that, and I had to read more into it, I immediately went to Star Wars, right? When we had James Earl Jones voice Darth Vader, right? Because, I mean, yeah, you get voicing on cartoons all the time, right? Like Tom Hanks knocks it out of the park with Woody. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I was trying to think of live action voiceovers, and the first thing that popped in my head was Star Wars, right? You're going to have him voice a live action character. So I was like, how would that work? And I'm like, Vader's easy because he's in a suit, right? And you don't see any mouth movement.
Right.
But then they did it again with Darth Maul. So they had to get the lip sync down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Maybe they will do this. Maybe Robert Englund will voice it. Then it read a little bit further. He's not talking about voicing the new film. He wants to voice an animated Nightmare on Elm Street. So I'm like, I don't know how well that's going to go over. And the example they used was Castlevania. And I loved the animated Castlevania on Netflix. And there has been rumor that Halloween is getting and Friday the 13th, we're going to talk about that in a sec, is getting a straight to Netflix show. Maybe there is a Nightmare on Elm Street animated show coming that we don't know about, right? I'm talking adult animated, like Castlevania. You know what I'm saying? 18 or older, rated R, blood, gore, sex, violence, all that good shit, in a dark anime style cartoon draw. You know what I'm saying? Anime style, with Robert Englund as the voice of Freddy Krueger. I'd fucking watch it.
Yeah.
I'd watch it in a second.
Give it a day.
Yeah.
You know?
Horror has never done, slasher horror, I should say, has never been huge in the anime field, I should say. Usually there is some horror anime, but it's not very popular. You know what I'm saying? Castlevania knocked it out of the park. Landed a deal with Netflix, and it, did great. So maybe the Wes Craven estates will sign this off, and I think it'll be fucking phenomenal. I'd watch it. So that's that. Now it's gonna bring me back to Friday the 13th, and we did a whole episode on the lawsuit, right? Mm-hmm. The lawsuit and the 40th anniversary. Okay? Mm-hmm. So the 40th anniversary. What are you laughing at?
Okay, last video that we made, I had made a comment about how sometimes I look like I have RBF, and you and I talked about the episode on Family Guy where he's on the TV show, and he's just like, ah! So the whole time
that song you're thinking about. I know you're fucking interrupted. Well, you're not interrupting me, but you're looking at me with this fucking goofy look.
I can't stop thinking about it, so it's got me laughing on the inside. And then I saw you look at me, and I'm like, he fucking knows.
I'm like,
he
what
recognized
the fuck?
me laughing.
Well, this show's fucking live, so none of this gets edited out, so it's her fucking fault. But I'm looking at her, and I'm like, what are you fucking like? She's kind of, I'm trying to think about what the fuck, because nothing's scripted. So I'm sitting here trying to think about what I'm going to say, and she's got this fucking goofy-ass smile looking at me.
I don't know why as soon as we started. So I don't know if you guys watch Family Guy, but there's an episode where Peter's on like a talk show, and it's Regis and Kelly or talk show or something, and he's just sitting over there going, ah. So that's all I pictured in my head, trying really hard not to laugh.
I was wondering what the fuck, because I saw it building up. What the fuck are you smiling at? So, anyways, I don't want to get too much off track. Back on horror, we did an episode about Friday the 13th, and we talked about the lawsuit, and and what was going on with that. And I'm going to touch base on the lawsuit just a little bit. But I did want to mention one thing. This year, 2020, marks the 40th anniversary of the Friday the 13th franchise. And it's a shame that this lawsuit is going down, because this would have been the year to have the 13th picture from them. So it would have, it would have gone great.
Some memorabilia and everything.
Yeah,
too.
memorabilia, all this other stuff, 40th anniversary, whatever, just fucking toys, collectibles, shirts, all that good shit. And then have a film come out on Friday the 13th in November to kick off that, right, to kind of end that Halloween season. Because we do have a new Halloween coming out this year. I think October 15th or something. I don't remember the date. But we have a new Halloween movie coming out. And it was very successful back in 2018. So, yeah, they would have knocked it out of the fucking...
The last one was already... It was 2018?
Yeah.
Wow. Seems like it was just this past October that came out.
No, because I have it on Blu-ray.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I understand that. But, man, it just seems like it just came out.
Yeah. So it's, 2018, because, I've owned it on Blu-ray for a while now. But they would have knocked it out of the fucking park. You know what I'm saying? Having Halloween come out, kind of build up the horror suspense for October and all that stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, Friday the 13th in November this year. There's one in March, there's one in November, and then boom, here is the 13th fucking film of this franchise that we've been waiting 10 fucking years for. Over 10 years. Last one was in 2009. So there is one thing coming out this year for certain, and it comes out May 5th. Mark your calendars. Paramount is releasing a limited edition 40th anniversary Steelbook Blu-ray
That's pretty cool.
of the original film. Now, you can go to Best Buy right now and buy a Steelbook Blu-ray of the original film. And it's like $12, right? But this is, I think, up converted to 1080p because the original one was, I think, the film's so fucking old. It was shot on film first off, but I think if you own a DVD version of it, it plays it in 480i, right? Which is fucking garbage quality. The Blu-ray, I believe, was an up convert to 720p. I heard, don't know if this is true or not, that this is the first time it's up converted to 1080p. Limited edition says 40th anniversary on the front, original cover, and on the back it says, kill her, mommy, on the whole back, and it's like a blood splatter on it. And you can pre-order it now, I think, on Amazon, and it ships May.
How much did you say it was?
$15.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, so a couple bucks more than the Blu-ray now, and you get the limited edition steel tin 40th anniversary. I don't know, maybe it's got a little collector card in it. I don't know. But that's the only thing that I know that's licensed from Paramount coming out for the 40th anniversary. So at least they're recognizing it. So now let's talk about before we wrap this up, we're going to talk about the lawsuit and the latest update. So February 13th, I believe, so like a week ago, they had their final arguments, and I just want to give you guys an update for those that haven't been following the case. So the final arguments between Victor Miller and Sean Cunningham on this rights battle for the Friday the 13th franchise. And we're supposed to have a verdict, if we're lucky, earliest is May. It could get stretched to June, and then we can also have another appeal. So the way it's going to go down, the way I read it and the way I took it in, it's going to go down one of three ways, okay? The first way, which is the way I think it's going to go down, this is the way I think it's going to go down. Victor Miller is going to win. He won already, and Sean Cunningham in Horror Inc. appealed it, right? It's going to go to Victor Miller. He's the one that wrote the screenplay of the first film, and he's going to have all the rights therewith in. And if they come out with another film, he is going to have to collaborate with Sean Cunningham. Second way it can go is Sean Cunningham wins, okay? If Sean Cunningham wins and has the rights to Friday the 13th, everything within, because here's the thing, if Victor Miller wins, which I think he is, right, he only has the rights to the first movie and the characters within. The hockey mask wearing, wielding machete Jason that we all know did not come until the third picture.
Right.
Right? So Sean Cunningham owns that image, but Victor Miller will own the original storyline, Pamela Voorhees, and the Friday the 13th title. Okay? Now, that's not a big deal, because there has been 2 movies already that weren't called Friday the 13th. We had Jason Goes to Hell, also known as The Final Friday, and Jason X, right? We had Freddy versus Jason, but that was a collaboration with Wes Craven's character. So 3 pictures, right? So it wouldn't be unheard of to come out with another Jason picture and not have Friday the 13th in the title, right? But the fans want it. We want that Friday the 13th, part 13, right? When the reboot came out in 2009, we had Friday the 13th, right? So that would be one thing, is if Sean Cunningham does win, we'll have a new film right away, because he doesn't have to collaborate with Victor Miller. He could come out and say, cool, man, let's make a new picture. Let's get it rocking and rolling. We're going to call it Jason and whatever, you know what I mean? And kind of go from there. So I don't know I don't know the fine details, like on Camp Crystal Lake. Can they use that anymore? You know what I mean? The only thing I know is the first story, basically the origin and the characters within, and the title Friday the 13th would belong to Victor Miller if he wins.
Yeah.
Now, the third outcome is another appeal, and it goes to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
That's what we don't want.
That's worst case scenario.
That's worst case scenario, and that's what we don't want. We don't want this getting stretched out for another fucking year.
If not longer than that.
Yeah. If they're doing anything, they're hurting themselves because the fans want stuff. You know, me, I talk to a lot of people in forums, Instagram, different horror communities, all that good stuff. And the fans want a fucking picture. And if anything, we want them to work together. You know what I'm saying? So best case scenario, Victor Miller wins. He collaborates with Sean. They kind of split the pie, and we just continue like nothing happens, except now that profits are divided up differently.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sean Cunningham wins. We'll have a picture sooner, but we're going to have some shit missing from these pictures. Origin stories, backstories. You know, maybe he can't kill at camp anymore. Who the fuck knows? He's already been to New York. You know what I mean? They've taken him to outer space. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Jason's been all over the fucking place, but I don't know. So that's all I kind of wanted to talk to you about horror news, just kind of update on Friday the 13th, Candyman, little stuff I heard about Freddy Kruger, which kind of caught me off guard today. And that is going to do it. So be sure to like and subscribe for new content, all that good stuff. You get the notifications. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram. I will have both of our handles in the description below. And I think that's going to do it. I knew you were fucking thinking it. Son of a bitch.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
He lies.
She's fucking holding it the whole video. All right, that's going to do it, guys. Until next time, we'll catch you. Peace and hair grease.
See ya.